Hello, welcome back to the Brotherhood of Gaming Podcast. I'm your blood host, William Morris.
I'm your co-host, Eugene Morris, Slayer of the Innocent.
And I'm Vash, the beatboxer. I don't know.
We don't let him go out at night.
Well, we're getting back into video game stuff.
Okay, so are you guys Castlevania fans? And by Castlevania fans, I mean old Castlevania fans.
Yep.
Do you like Alucard?
Yep.
Do you like Richter Belmont?
Yep.
Do you sort of like Trevor Belmont?
Yep.
Would you like to see the 2D side-scrollers continue?
Did they leave?
Yeah.
Yes.
For a while they did. Okay, so Koji, the maker of Symphony of the Night, or big time Symphony of the Night guy, worked at Konami for a long time, and then they kind of put him on mobile stuff, and he was not a happy guy. He was quite sad. So yeah, he said, I'm done with this, left Konami, just like Hideo Kojima did. And so now he's started a Kickstarter, which was awesome. His entire theme was gothic tone, and his intro started off just like the game Castlevania 4 did, where it starts off with this tombstone breaking, and then you see a bat flying out. And then the bat forms into him. And then he starts walking through this huge castle and starts sitting down on a throne with a wine glass, just like in friggin' Symphony of the Night. And then he starts explaining to the audience what this is. This is a Kickstarter for the successor of a really popular series you may have heard of. And it's going to be called Bloodstained, Ritual of the Night. It's going to be in a Symphony of the Night type of style, gothic tone and everything, and he's doing this because he loved it, he loved the passion, and also he was told by his higher-ups that gamers don't care for that style of game anymore, and he's going to show them that they're wrong. And by donating a certain amount, I think it was like 500,000, they'll be able to make the game, and it's going to have multiplayer co-op, and it's going to be able to do all these really cool things. It's basically like another version of Mighty No. 9, except Castlevania.
Right.
And, wow. In just, I think, 4 hours, the entire thing got funded.
So I guess people still care about that style of gameplay.
Yeah, it's funny how usually they always come down to no one cares about this, and they do a Kickstarter, and they end up hitting their goal and then some in the first, hour or something like that.
Right.
I know, it was crazy how this happened, and there was a funny part where he's going into a torture chamber, and he starts torturing somebody and saying, well, when you donate this, we'll have more stages, we'll have more levels, we'll have two-player co-op, we'll have more bosses, and then somebody's like, I can't help but think the person he was torturing was Konami.
Oh, yeah. And how they're really screwing up lately.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is exciting, but also kind of sad at the same time, because it just kind of reminds you that the franchises that you knew and loved for over 20 years, almost going on 30 years, are pretty much just shadows, mere glimpses of their former selves.
If you want them, well, the thing is that a lot of the creators of these games have left these companies. So these companies don't have the talent that they used to. All these creators have gone on, and they're doing their own thing, so...
Yeah.
If you want these franchises to survive, the only way they survive is through these spiritual successors.
Yeah, with completely different identities. The only thing that they have that are connected are the very similar tones, the style, and the gameplay.
Yeah.
Everything else is completely different, and that's just... What's sad about that is that the lore that you had 30 years building up with these memorable characters that we've loved all of our lives are now just that, memories. And they'll never continue to grow. It's basically like... It's kind of like a funeral, if you will, where you're witnessing the funeral of your past, but now you also are gaining a new one. But you kind of question, do you want to accept that new one? Sure, you'll love it, you'll play it, you'll be on board because you're seeing your original guys who made these games continue on with the great gameplay, but is it the same?
Well, would you rather just not ever play it again?
Well, that's not the thing. Like I just said, you'll love it and you'll play it and you'll enjoy playing the new games again. But the old lore that you had 30 years building up and you remember greatly, it's not going to be the same. So it will be, but it won't, and that's the surreal thing that a lot of people have. And
I would love to play a new Castlevania, but it looks like the closest thing we're gonna get to that is this Bloodstained. So I just have to transfer my love from Castlevania over to this Bloodstained series.
For a second, I thought you said Bloodstained.
Bloodstained. No, that's Konami.
I was like, what?
Yeah, Konami's a butt stain. Konami.
Yeah, Konami's. I think someone made a bet with the Konami guy to see how long he can destroy his company, like how quick he can do it.
So what do you think of this whole Kickstarter thing, Vash? What do you think?
I mean, it took me a long time to get into Symphony of the Night, which is pretty much what the successors of it, right? Like Symphony of the Night. It took me a long time to get into it, mainly because I like my traditional linear run from left to right Castlevania games.
Yeah, like my favorite Castlevania of all time is Rondo of Blood with Richter Belmont.
Yeah, that one's fun. I like 4, like Super Castlevania 4. But like, that's what I was used to, and I just didn't like how like when you start off you're all powerful and you lose all your shit, and then you're like punching people and you're doing no damage, but then you die in like 2 hits. Like it took me a while. I had to really muscle through like the beginning, and then I ended up really liking it. So
Awesomely with Symphony of the Night, it's not a glitch, or maybe it is, but there's a trick where you can actually keep all of your gear at the start of the game. Are you sure it's a glitch? Because you don't have to cheat or do anything to do it.
It's something that you have to slide through the wall at a right angle or something. But yeah, you can actually bypass it, and you can.
Because what happens is
other way. I don't feel like arguing. But go ahead.
I'm not arguing. I don't think everything's an argument. But no, what happens is when you're at the part where you're about to see death. What happens is, if you take off all of your gear, except for a specific item, apparently, and then you jump into an enemy, what happens is that enemy's knockback will push you so far, it'll push you directly right through the next room, passing death altogether. And you'll have kept all your stuff.
that sounds awesome.
And I do it. I do it all the time when I play that game now. Like, I never play the game normally now. I'm just going to say, screw this. I'm keeping all my gear.
I like how in that game they had like the spells that like you can use money to buy them, or you can just look it up on the internet. You can still do the spells. Like,
yeah, you can if you know how to do them.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's kind of like Mortal Kombat in that way, where you don't have to buy the fatalities if you know how to do them.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. I'm down for it. Like I'm sure. I don't know that I've had a bad experience with Kickstarters. With my first and only Kickstarter being Mighty Number 9, and I'm not too happy with it. So. It's like I'm kind of weary of Kickstarters. I just hate putting, I hate giving them money for a game that like I have to wait like a year or 2 for it to come out, and then by the time it comes out, I either don't give a shit or it ends up being something I don't want anymore. Like with Mighty Number 9, like I don't even really care about Mighty Number 9 anymore. And like I kickstarted that in 2013.
Yeah, Mighty Number 9 has just been handled terribly.
So hopefully this new guy, the Castlevania guy, handles it better than KG did.
Yeah, but I still need to do Ukulele. I'm gonna do that one before I do this one.
Yeah. But yeah, like what's exciting about this one is that it's gonna have multiplayer co-op, so it's gonna be similar to Castlevania Harmony of Despair for the PS3 and 360, where that whole thing was like online multiplayer. Mm-hmm. That was pretty cool.
I think I watched you guys play that for a little bit. Did you guys finish that one? Oh, then I need to go back and finish watching it.
Yeah,
or you can play it with us again.
No, I know there was something about that game that I didn't like. I don't know what it was.
The game in different rooms. Will was in one room and I was in the other.
Yeah, there was one major flaw with that game. If you were going to play it online, you couldn't have a 2-player play with you online. It had to all be separated, which was really lame.
Well, that's how they get your money. So you had to buy 2 copies of the game instead of 1 to play 2-player.
Well, that's not how it happened. Our PS3s were connected, so what happened is that we set up PS3s in different rooms, and he copied the game off of me. But the one downside is Gene had a terrible time because since his copy was a fresh one, he didn't have any level up stats for his characters. So he was the one guy that he was dying in one hit while the rest of us were like experienced and killing everything else in one hit. It was really kind of sad, but oh well.
Make sure it made it easier for him to level up.
Yeah, well. So yeah, what do you expect out of this? Like, are we expecting the same kind of lore? Because if you look at the main character on the picture, it kind of looks like Shinoa from Order of Ecclesia.
That's cool. Hey, I just want a good game. That's all I want.
Yeah, I mean we know what we're getting. We played Symphony of the Night, so we know what we're getting. It's just we're finally gonna get a new one.
Right. Just not call Castlevania or Dracula or whatever. You know,
yeah.
It's close enough.
So, guys, what do you think about Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, which is kind of close to Castlevania Symphony of the Night?
Yeah.
Like, I'd love to see Konami try to sue.
Yeah, I need Capcom to get Mighty Number 9.
Like, I don't know, that'd be hilarious. Meanwhile, guys, tell us your thoughts below. Maybe we'll respond. Maybe we'll dance the jig. I don't know. I'm your host, William Morris of the Brother Game Podcast.
I'm your co-host, Eugene Morris.
And I'm Vash. I don't know what the title still. You're regular?
Yeah.
You're common.
Yeah, you're a commoner. See you guys.